Not quite centre. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Weather Fans Live here on Monday, the 17th of March 25, and happy St. Patrick's Day to you all. Hope you're all well this evening. It's just me, myself, and I. The whole team are busy this evening. Apologies for not coming online last night. Just going to go straight into it. So, good evening to Laura Johnson. Thank you for coming in this evening. Good old Rachel is sneaking through. Laura was asking, did anyone see the eclipse the other night, which I think was on early hours of Friday morning? I think we only just got the end of it. I think it was America that had the lunar eclipse. Good evening to Steffi. Can I stay for about 20 minutes? Have sign language later. No problem. Thank you for popping in. Good evening to Matthew Orchard. Good evening to you on this Monday evening. So it's been quite an eventful few days. Talks of the weather. We've actually had our usual tornadoes across America, across the southern southeastern areas of America, which there's been quite a lot of destructive tornadoes, and unfortunately, quite a few lives have been lost. We'll come on to that in a second. But also, parts of Italy have had experienced a few tornadoes as well from a supercell that hit her. I think it was on Friday afternoon or Saturday afternoon, which I'll show you some of the images from that as well. And we're under high pressure at the moment, but which has been giving us a bit of cool weather over the past week. But we are going to see a change from around about midweek to a bit of warmer weather, so perhaps sort of similar to what we had around about last weekend, and we shall see if there's any effects from the SSW that we had a couple of weeks ago, which I'll show you some of the charts from that as well. Good evening to Audio Coffee. Thank you for joining us this evening, and Matthew as well. And Rachel's just eating sweet corn. Is it because it's yellow? All right. I shall head first. Let's go over to the USA. I'll just bring up the latest from the BBC. Just bring up the tab there. So unfortunately, there has been quite a few deaths, to be honest. We love the power of Mother Nature, but this is the worst bit we hate, is when it starts to affect people's lives and causing destruction like it has done. Our thoughts go out to those that have been affected across America with these destructive tornadoes. I know Ryan Ewell was actually live for about, I think, 11 or 12 hours on Thursday night into Friday morning, and the same again, Friday night into Saturday morning, and again Saturday afternoon to Sunday morning, and watching some of the destruction that was seen. Well, we can see there, unfortunately, a school bus, well, I would say a complete write-off. Updated from an hour ago, says here at least 40 people have unfortunately died from tornadoes through the US Midwest and South during the tornado outbreak for the last couple of days. And residents in Bakersfield, Missouri, are coping with destruction that killed 12 people in their state. Unfortunately, there's fatalities recorded in Arkansas, Alabama, and Mississippi. And the severe weather came further east as parts western Pennsylvania were hit with strong storms. So let's try to play that without any sound. So these were scenes from Alabama and Missouri. Unfortunately, you can see the house has been destroyed there. And I believe one of the tornadoes that hit was a strong Category 4 Category 4, that's hurricane. EF4, there's possibility it might get upgraded to an EF5. Some winds, some of these are up to about 170 mile per hour, possibly plus. It's just a sad sight to see for all those been affected over there. Our thoughts do go out to those who have been affected here from the Weather Fans community. I think, unfortunately. So here's another clip from this, actually, from this tornado outbreak. Just come off there a second. So I think there was reports of up to, I think, around about 40 or 50 tornadoes reported in that area. Probably about 48 hours that this happened. I was watching it for quite a while through Friday night into Saturday and Saturday into Sunday as well. Now, Order Coffee saying there that the school bus are a bit like tanks. So for a tornado to pick one up and throw it like that, you have to want the force behind it. Exactly. It was just awful to hear and see about. As I was watching on Saturday afternoon, there was, I think there was literally must have been like a few towns had about 2 or 3 tornadoes in a line, like one after the other. It was just unfortunate to hear about. Good evening to Adam. Thank you for joining us this evening. But as I mentioned, it wasn't just America that was affected by these tornadoes. Not to the same scale, but in northern Italy, near just to north of Bologna, there was also. The screen, let me just turn it off there. A supercell actually produced, I think, 4 tornadoes from the same cell. So that was just north of Bologna. I'll bring that over to there and play that. So this is from the same supercell. And this is saying actually produced 5 tornadoes through this supercell. And also the day before, same kind of weather pattern produced copious amounts of rain in parts of northern Italy. Bologna, Pisa were affected by some quite heavy flooding. A friend of mine in Italy did actually send me footage of the flooding in an area caused by actually just like a stream of moist air just keep self-feeding these storms and just dropped up for about, I think, at least 100 to 150 millimeters of rain in the space of about 24 hours. But looking at the structures there from that supercell. Beautiful structures, but I'm not too sure there's too much damage caused by these tornadoes just to north of Bologna through Saturday. And some of the hail that came from that supercell, well, you definitely need a hard hat. Or, oops, have I just stopped sharing that? Oh, do apologise. Let's bring that back up. Let's bring that back up. So there we go. That was the hail caused by that supercell in just north of Bologna. That will certainly hurt you if it did hit you on the head, wouldn't it? So probably talking what, pops golf ball size hail there. So yeah, things are quieting down a bit across, especially the American side. Let me just bring myself back onto the screen here. Oh, not like that. Right, this is a StreamYard had an update a couple of weeks ago and it's just changed a few things around, just try and get used to. So yeah, America, they're expecting another like storm system to come through, but be nothing like the scale of what they've received. It's deep area of low pressure going through Central America, but obviously with all the moist air being swept away by this system over the weekend, it's nothing's possible to possibly next weekend. We need to keep an eye. Well, this coming weekend, we need to keep an eye on. So potentially there could be another setup where there could be some tornado risks, but we'll keep updated towards the end of this week. Right. I'm going to bring you on next. I'm going to take a look at the latest from the Strat. Obviously, we've had an SSW. Let's bring the chart up for that. And you couldn't get any more clearer than that. You've seen in the space of a few days that temperatures rocketed from around about minus 73 degrees up to around about minus 28. That was in the space of about 2 or 3 days. We have had a major stratospheric warming. Also, it does mention here that starts at 30 HPA level Northern Hemisphere around the 8th of March. Obviously, temperatures have gone back to around about minus 39. But we have had an SSW. Looking at that 10 HPA, that's gone from around about minus 58 up to about minus 19. So that's still a 40-degree temperature increase in the space of about 2 or 3 days. And we can actually take a look through the atmosphere of the zonal winds that actually has gone into reversal all the way from 1 HPA to around about 50 HPA. We need to keep an eye on to see if that will affect the tropopause and if it will have an effect on the weather for the Northern Hemisphere and perhaps the UK. That's still about another week, perhaps week to 10 days at least away before the models may pick something up on that, but we shall see. Let's have a look at the latest from the Strat. Let me just get that tab up ready. Hopefully that's flicked over to that. It has indeed. So this is the latest from the Strat from the GFS midday run. I need to find my tab. There we go. I've got so many open ready. So obviously that warming has gone into the North Pole. So what is expected to happen? We're expecting a bit of another warming from the Russian side. Will that also infiltrate into the North Pole? Yes, it does. It keeps that warming there. And the PV is virtually, I would say, dying a death, to be honest. There's not much left of it. What's left of it sat over towards the UK. I'm actually seeing another slight warming there towards Russia, pushing into Scandi. And obviously, the time's getting on now where the PV starts to weaken anyway. But to me, that looks like it's just completely finished off the PV for this season. The warm temperatures remain over the pole. So to me, that's the end of the PV for this season. Right, so I'm just going to put my head into the comments. Instead of saying that SSW is impressive, it certainly is. That's a proper certain stress rate warming. Oh, why is that not clicking? Just give me a second. I'm having trouble there. Try to scroll up. There we go. And saying that it's astonishing how they come up with that quickly. Exactly. That's why these SSWs are so impressive to see on the charts. Adam saying that the models are not showing northern blocking by the end of March at the moment. Yeah, there was someone to keep an eye on. If anything's to come up, probably in the next perhaps week to 10 days. I can't go out if it gets too warm. It looks like I'm doing my shopping online. And Matthew's saying it could be interesting. We shall see if the northern blocking does occur. It just depends where it sits as well. Also, Matthew's saying it was cold today. Yeah, there's still a bit of a chill in the air, but we're going to see in a minute that a change in wind direction will make the difference like we had a couple of weeks ago. We are going to start losing the northeasterly and easterlies, and we are going to start seeing the winds change to a south-southeasterly, which we'll just see in a moment. And Laura's saying that the PV is done and dusted. I would say so, definitely say so. I was looking at those latest charts. Also, we're actually in the equilux at the moment, where we are about as close as we can be equal day and night. Obviously, the equinox is on Thursday, where the center of the sun starts to come onto our side of the northern hemisphere. Right, let's take a look at the latest weather. Let's go on to the facts charts from the good old Met. And what we have at the moment is a nice area of high pressure sat over the North Sea. And it's just bringing in this, I would say, easterly wind off the North Sea. Actually, I'm just going to bring up another chart up. Yes, but hopefully he hasn't. Just move that off there. Just realised I left the comment on there. Let's bring on the visual. Sorry about this, just bear with me. Let's bring up the next chart up. I forgot to load up before I came online. Right, trying for about the 17th time. There we go. Let me just bring that onto the screen now. That's switched over. So you have that area of high pressure set over towards the North Sea. We're getting the easterly wind. Obviously, we've got a legacy of cloud from an old weather front sat across the UK. But what has started to happen during this afternoon, we are seeing that clearer air starts to make its way in from the east. So by the time we get into tomorrow, during the night as well. Actually, during the night as well, all this cloud will push over towards the west, and we will start seeing this clearer air across the country. For Tuesday, the weather is looking absolutely stunning, beautiful blue sky, not feeling quite warm. Still, temperatures will be around about 10, 11 degrees, but it'll be a lot more sunny than most of us have seen today under this blanket of cloud. So back to the FACS chart. Let's bring that forward now into Tuesday. So we'll start to see that high pressure continue to move its way eastward into Central Eastern Europe. We started to switch the wind slightly to a southeasterly. So we're starting to lose that coolness off the North Sea. As we head into Wednesday, we're continuing to change the wind direction to a southeasterly, and we start to drop this warmer air off the near continent. We've got air of low pressure sat towards the coast of Iberia. That's helping to turn this wind as well as that high pressure continues its eastwards progression. So eventually we will start to pick up more of the southerly as we head into Thursday. And at the same time, we are starting to see some weather fronts getting close to the southwest. So there could be a risk of some showers for the far southwest of England. You could start bringing in some high cloud as well. But the main thing is we've lost that easterly wind. We are dragging the air up from the near continent. We will start to see temperatures rise. And as we head into Friday, we've got this weather front here. Could start to see some longer spells of rain coming up from the south. But again, with the wind from that direction, things will be on the milder, close to warm side, possibly looking at the high teens. But let's go straight into the GFS 12 o'clock run. Let's bring on the 850. So we're under relatively cool at the moment, but what we'll start to see, those blues are retreating away, and we'll start to pick up those yellows as we head into Wednesday. And Thursday as well. There's a few hints of orange just in the near continent, but not quite making it up, being dragged up from this low pressure off Iberia, and that's dragging this warm air up into parts of Iberia. It's the Balearic Islands there. And with this low pressure towards Iberia, will start to progress northwards. If this was middle of summer, we'll be licking our lips going, "Ooh, Spanish plume," but not quite yet. We are only in March. I think if this was middle of summertime, we could be thinking this will dragging up some thundery rain up from the south. As I say, it's not quite the time of year yet. As we head through into next week, we've got a ridge of high pressure moving up from the southwest. Then signs of the Atlantic trying to move in. We've got an air of low pressure actually sinking towards the southeast there. So I wonder if that's been influenced by this bit of blocking over towards Scandi. Could this be the first signs of a bit of northern blocking? We shall see. I do also we've got to have high pressure actually starts to build actually across Scandi. It's something we will keep an eye on. I said could this be the response from the SSW? We shall see. Let's have a look at the temperatures for the next few days for the rest of this week. So let's go through it. Let's have a look at the minimum temperatures for tonight with those clearer skies moving in. So there is the risk of some frost across the whole of the UK. Temperatures will be around about freezing, maybe down to -2, -3 in some spots. Temperatures tomorrow still relatively cool, around about 9, 10, maybe 11 degrees, but still an easily influence on that. Then we'll start to see temperatures. Sorry, we'll start to see the winds change direction even more to more of a southeasterly. So by the time we get to Wednesday, temperatures starts to climb up into around about 13, 14, maybe 15 degrees in a few spots. Temperatures into Thursday morning. Not too much of a risk of frost, actually. We'll bring up much warmer air. Any risk of frost, maybe for parts of far north of England into Scotland there. Temperatures holding up around about mid single digits through into Thursday morning. Then Thursday itself, temperatures quite widely actually into the teens, up to 16, 17. Couldn't rule out maybe an 18 or a 19 for Thursday. As we head into Friday as well, under any prolonged sunshine, temperatures again up into the upper teens, 17, 18. I cannot rule out the odd isolated 20 somewhere. We could maybe get a high 19 like we got, was it about 10 days ago in Crosby in Liverpool. A bit cool towards the southwest where we've got more of that rain coming up from the south. And Friday should be the peak of the temperatures as we're expecting more of the way of cloud, maybe some rain as well coming in from the south. So temperature would peg back down to just into double digits, maybe up to 14, 15. And maybe if you see any sunshine again down the southeast, we can maybe 16 or 17 tops. And heading to Sunday as well, it's that risk of that rain, which will peg the temperatures back down to around about 10, 11, maybe 12 degrees. Let's have a look at the Cape and Lifted, see if there's any potentially thunder risk from this southerly push. So obviously under the high pressure, there's absolutely no Cape and Lifted available at all. Just need to keep an eye on from late Thursday onwards. So Friday, there's perhaps a hint there that could see an isolated shower. Will it be thundering? I do not think so at all. Might be just a normal shower. That's just an isolated risk at this stage. Let's have a look through into Saturday. And there's a possibility for southern, southeastern areas. You could potentially see maybe a thunderous shower developing there. So that's something we need to keep an eye on as the week goes on. I know there's a few uncertainties heading to this weekend of the timings of the southerly push of these weather fronts. And Sunday, we're not expected to see anything at all. So see if this has shown any storm risk at all. Obviously, nothing expected through much of this week. So when we get into Friday, so that's showing very again small risk there for Friday. So there could be an isolated shower popping up on Friday. Well, let's have a look what happens for Saturday. It's got a bit of a risk there, maybe for Saturday. Maybe some heavy showers, maybe I'll rumble thunder in these. This is still to firm up in the next few days. And as we head into Sunday, a bit more of a less risk for that. I'm going to take a look now at the high resolution model from the UKV. See how far. Let's just go with this radar. So obviously for the next few days, there's nothing really to report. Let me just shift that banner out of the way before it pops back up. So nothing expected at all this part of the week. So you're going to let me go towards the weekend. Let's come up there. A few risk of some heavy showers, maybe for the southwest of England into South Wales. There's perhaps that's that risk there coming up through into the Midlands. There's a bit of more there for southeastern areas, so there could be an isolated showers there forming. Again, for some isolated showers, even for parts of Norfolk and Suffolk there. Unfortunately, only let us go as far as the early hours of Saturday, so something to keep an eye on perhaps for the weekend. So, yeah, interesting. I'm just going to put my head back into the chat. I'll just come off there a second. I've disappeared. I'll bring myself back on. There we go. Let's go up the chat a little bit. Good evening to Chris A, who's joined us this evening. Yeah, what else have we got? Oh, Steffi's. Yeah, Steffi's gone. Thank you, Steffi. If you're watching back, thank you for joining us this evening. Let's scroll down. Good evening to Ben. Thank you for joining us this evening. Yeah, like you're saying, looks like some beefy shows there. Yeah, it's something definitely to keep an eye on for this weekend. Definitely indeed. Right. How are we doing? Not too bad. Let's bring on now a prediction from the ECMWF weekly anomaly charts. See how the rest of this month and into April's looking. So these are the weekly mean anomaly pressure charts from the ECMWF. This is between the 17th to the 24th of March. And it's got high pressure, which we know, which is going to be moving towards the east of Europe. We've got this low pressure set off the coast of Iberia. And we are, during this week, as we know, bringing up this south to southeasterly airflow. And what happens during next week, 24th of March to the 31st, that moves that low pressure up into towards Scandi. And this is actually starts to bring the winds back down from a bit of a northerly there, north to northwesterly. It could be a transition there. We've got another blocking area of our high pressure set out towards the Atlantic. So around this again, we're looking perhaps a bit of a northwesterly flow there, perhaps northwesterly to northeasterly. The 31st of March to the 7th of April has blocking towards our west, lower pressure over towards Europe. So we're back into this northeasterly flow and the kind of similar pattern to where it was around about 10 days ago. So it's almost like a repeat performance, really. The 2nd of April to the 14th of April has high pressure up towards Iceland, and this starts to bring in a bit of a northeast to easterly there. So that also keeps things quite cool. The third, even 14th to the 21st, again, has a very similar pattern, really. This is showing we could actually bring in an easterly there through into April. And the 21st of April to the 28th. There's no clear signal, but yet there's still got a bit northern blocking and potentially that easterly there as well. So could this be the first signs of that sun stress effect warming, cooling things down to drag in these easterlies? The precipitation from this model has it drier towards northern and eastern areas, and when we've got this rain coming up from the south, has a slightly wetter than average. The 24th to the 31st of March keeps us around about average, perhaps slightly drier than average towards the far northwest of Scotland and slightly wetter towards the southeast. This could be the transition period where that low pressure moves through the country at the early part of next week. The 31st of March to the 7th of April has it drier than average towards the northwest of the UK and around about average elsewhere. The 7th to the 14th of April has us virtually average, really, across much of the UK. So 14th of April to the 21st has a slightly wetter than average towards western and southwestern areas of the UK. And the 21st to 28th, more or less average, perhaps a little patch there towards central southern England there to be wetter than average. In the terms of temperatures, let's have a look at the 2-meter temperatures. So with that southerly wind, south to southeasterly wind, we are around about 2 degrees above average from the 17th to the 24th of March. And again for the 24th to the 31st of March, we are above average. And 31st to 7th, we're slightly above average. And will things start to cool down with this potential easterly? We're still slightly above average. And it keeps us like that for the rest of April as well. That's showing around about average for then. Oh, I've disappeared again. There we go. So, even though potentially we could have some northern blocking, that's not showing any much of the way of cool weather. It's keeping us around about slightly above average. Depends where that northern blocking is, if we're under high pressure or under influence of more low pressure. But I've got a feeling we could, if it's that easterly wind, we could have dragged in a lot of cloud off the North Sea. But time will tell, and let's see how this SSW responds, and if we do get that northern blocking. Right, I think I'm going to wind it up there. That's been everything I want to cover for tonight. We've gone through the American storms, the Italian tornado. We've gone through the SSW charts and also weather for the rest of this week and the weekly Norway charts. So yeah, that's the thing. That was like it's covered everything for tonight. So I'll let you have your chance to say your goodbyes. Let's bring that up there. There we go. So it will be next Sunday. It was obviously this coming Sunday at 8 p.m. Will be our last live in GMT time before the clocks go forward in 13 days' time. Yeah, Matthew's asking, thanks for the live stream. Back to Sunday next week. Yes, we are. Just last night, I've just been that busy. I was just absolutely shattered last night. So I couldn't do the live last night. I've just been. And honestly, thank you for joining me on this Monday night instead of the usual Sunday. So that means you're going to get 2 lives within a week. So aren't you all lucky, eh? Thank you, Anne. Thanks, Michael. Good night. Goodbye to Chris A. And goodbye to Ben. Good night to Laura Johnson. Thank you for the live stream and have a good evening, everybody. Goodbye to Matthew. And good night to you. And good night to everyone else who has joined me on this Monday night. So, obviously, Steph is not here. We'll leave it to Audio Cover tonight. Thank you all for the weather update this week. As Steph would say, of those credits. Let's do that. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you on Sunday. Take care, everybody.